Alright, YouTube, this is 2 Cent back with my 2 cents on Echoes of Mana, and today it is all about our new 4-star Charlotte. So let's take a look more in depth. I gave some initial thoughts a few days ago when we got the news of the banner, and now her specific banner is out. And so obviously those are the better ones, that if you're really going to target a character, you want to do it on that banner rather than the double banner. I'll have to say I did try to do the first single pull on this, the reduced cost pull, and I got nothing today. So I'm still just with my one copy of Charlotte that I got lucky with on the double banner. So let's take a look and kind of give my 2 cents on kind of build and strategies of in kind of use of how I see Charlotte. So let's take a look first just over at her page. So I do think that Charlotte is a good pickup, especially if you are running a Magic team or have hopes of running a Magic team in the future. Maybe there's a character that you really like coming out, at some point that is going to be Mage related, that you're like, I want that unit, so let's pick up Charlotte in anticipation of that. So here would be my quick thoughts on her gear piece thing here. I think overall, utilizing her as a damage dealer is, maybe less than what we would want. Not that her damage is specifically bad, but I think that she's got a better use here. And I think that is to be kind of like a drain tank, or just like a magic dealing tank. And I think this gets fully unlocked when you get to her +3, which I understand can be difficult, but I know we're getting some 4-star Benevodons, and if you get lucky, doing some pulls, and you kind of get 2 already, you're close to there. Also, we've come to really realize in this game that slow building is kind of the way it is, unless you have the money just to throw at, you'll just be kind of slow building some of these units. That's kind of what I've started doing. I do have, the 4-star Seraphina, and I have this Charlotte here. I'll probably kind of slow build them, kind of see who else kind of comes out, and then at some point when I just go all in on a banner, then I'll just, probably use my Benevodons then and just try and play around to see if I can max the unit out or something. So obviously her first dupe, it's great. This is at 100% ST gauge, which would help her a lot because her ST is one of the abilities that naturally gets her life back, her HP back on use. Similar to Lady Black Pearl in there, but the difference being that she scales off of intellect here, and so you're going to be stacking more intellect than you would on Lady Black Pearl. So we got magic damage on this next one, just an up on her skill 1, and then here's that +3 thing. We all know this is where the support skill comes into play, and what's really nice is that self-impaired buff that on skill usage restores HP, and it's 15%. When you get it to +6, it's 25%. Obviously, +6 in your unit makes them even more broken. So there is that. But that +15, as you're spamming your skills, it makes quite a bit of a difference. And, is this going to keep her 100% topped off all the time? Maybe not. But what I have kind of considered as far as running her gear is to run her as a tanky mage. So you can see here, this is just gear that I've kind of pieced together from other units. I would say this is not the most optimal gear. I'll give you that on the outset. I'll tell you which gear sets I think would be better though. So on the first part, on the left-hand side, I've just went with the extra tanky set of getting the extra con. This is a melee unit, so I think on your left side gears, go for a tanky set, whether you're going for HP or Constitution, Spirit, one of those sets for the left side. And I understand, but some of those sets aren't out yet, just for future reference though. And then on your substats for your gear, you're going to be looking for intellect, and then con, HP, Spirit. Get as much as you can. So right here is actually a very good piece. It's kind of just staggered throughout all of it. But this is going to help a lot. Boost that heal, boost that damage, and then also provide some extra tankiness. Same sort of thing with this one. Extra intellect for that heal and damage, and then HP. And then same thing with this one. So I think this is actually a pretty good left side set for her to utilize. Just as she's going to be up there in melee range. She's going to be taking a lot of hits. She's going to have to survive being knocked down from time to time because she does not have super armor. And I know it can be a really big deal, and we can really notice the difference between running like a Duran or running a Kevin on auto. That Kevin might be tankier in that regard, but he gets knocked down more so than Duran would when he has his con buff up. So you need to take those things into account as well. On the right side here, this is just some MP gear that I've had left over from farming the first 2 weeks of the game. This is not what I would recommend on this side. What I would recommend is a set like the Maple Pendant. Go ahead and get that Intellect, or go ahead and get the Spirit from the Ivory. I haven't ran that dungeon quite enough, and I'm kind of running low on being able to build gears up because I've used so much for my light damage and my dark damage set. So that's what I would recommend on this right side. Just utilizing that extra buffs to get some extra tankiness or some extra healing potential there. So that's kind of the gear piece out of the way. I have gotten her up to 75, which is just one dupe, or not one dupe, just putting her from 4-star to 5-star. So I've kind of been playing around. I'm just about finished with her mana boards. Let's see if that's going to be the end of it there. Not quite. I have to say that when we first got that new mana board update, I was like super worried because I was like, man, we have so much of the bottom mats. We're not getting the gold mats. And yeah, it has turned around on that. The changes that they did to the actual quests that we get the mana board stuff from, the changes they've done to that have really laid heavy on getting the gold items, and so trading down works just fine. For anybody who's a new player out there that might have seen one of my previous videos kind of explaining that or talking about that, I think the way we have it now, just fine. We don't need a trade up option. I keep running out of the stuff now that I've, used up my current reservoir of dark units between, Kevin and Seraphina and Charlotte now. So definitely not a problem, I think, anymore. All right. So that's just kind of my thoughts on her. I think that if you have less than +3 on your Charlotte, you're going to be using Charlotte primarily as a debuffer for your mage units. And that's why I'm like, if you're using a mage team, I think that's going to be where Charlotte's going to fit in the best. She's got this 35% down for the spirit and for the target's intellect, so even better against like a mage wielding boss or a magic dealing boss. So that's kind of like, I think her role is going to fit there, somewhat like a Duran, where she's just going to be somewhat tanky just because of the stats you've given her, and then being able to get a little bit of life back from her ST. But mostly she's just going to be there for the Spirit Break. Heck, you could even switch her in and out and use the Spirit Break and then bench her if you have her at less than +3. Once +3 happens, I think she can actually do a pretty good job of maintaining a little bit of her own HP and kind of just siphoning off the unit every time she's using her skill or her ST. She's getting some amount of HP back, and I think that'll be enough to kind of make for a decent little mage tank here. In her melee, she also gets her MP back, so you don't have to worry about her running out of MP at all. The only thing you have to be somewhat concerned about is just the frequency of the AI using those abilities, which is always a problem with every character you have. So anyway, I definitely want to give Charlotte a good stamp of approval that if you're looking for something to fill those needs of an SP breaker, or a spirit breaker, or just kind of a tanky mage unit that's going to be able to kind of self-sustain a little bit, I think this unit is going to fit that niche. And if that's something you're looking for, do go for her. You can obviously wait until the end of the banner, see what might be coming out next with the 31st anniversary, right around the corner at the end of this month here. They talk about there being some sort of maybe like surprise or something like that, but we have no idea if it's a unit or if they're just going to give us something. We have no idea. So it might be prudent to kind of hold off and save some of your spirit crystals until we have some verification of exactly what's happening. So in that regard, I think Charlotte is good. But let's wait and see what is happening. And that's been my 2 cents.